Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 351. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Matt P. Video. Matt, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You need a routine. It needs to be locked in.
He's
one
not
way or
gonna
the
do a
other.
routine. He'll never do a routine.
You don't tell me what to do, all right? You don't pay me. You don't pay
I don't
my
like
checks,
change.
all right?
The problem with Fix doing a routine is if he ever forgets it, it seems like a mistake. But if he does it this way, he's never made a mistake.
And the one and only Two Fresh Kresh. Kresh, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Damn, wow. Starting the episode off with a bang, Matt. Complaining already. Damn.
Well, what I was going to say is I predict this
All right.
episode is going to get off the rails.
You think so? I think like every episode we do gets off the rails.
Definitely
Lately,
seems to be trending that way.
absolutely.
You know, it's been a little bit weird. If you didn't know, My Xbox and Me is our weekly Xbox podcast here on youtube.com/MyXboxandMe and all podcast services. Do not forget to review us over on iTunes and Spotify and all those good places. We do appreciate it if you can. 5-star us. Leave us a little bit of feedback. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what we're doing wrong and all that good stuffs. Guys. Kingdom Hearts got announced. Like, what the hell?
It did.
Like, honestly, I don't even know what I was doing. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning and I was awake. And I was like, it was 5 o'clock in the morning that time, right?
Yeah, and I was definitely not awake.
I was awake. I was awake, yeah. I don't know where I was, but I was awake. And I was just like, what's going on? Like, what do you mean Kingdom Hearts just got announced? So this is Kingdom Hearts 4, right?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4.
Kresh, you're our residential Kingdom Hearts guy.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, from what I understand, it was the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Was we
And they were
expecting this?
No, I don't think anybody expected Kingdom Hearts 4 to come so soon after Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
It's kind of mad.
Yeah, talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Also, it is not here.
No,
Let's be very clear.
is.
Nobody expected
it's
it to
far
be announced
out,
this
it's far
soon
out.
after
But
3.
Announced. Yeah, but even 3 got announced super early, and it got announced way after 2.
Sure.
Well,
I get what you're saying.
I was just kind of blown away because I was just a bit like, wait, what? Like, what?
Yeah.
Wait. Like, don't get me wrong. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out 2 years ago. Question
It was
mark?
longer than that. Let me
2,
look
3,
that up real quick.
3 years. Maybe 3
I
years?
think it was definitely pre-pandemic, right? And so I think it's
3
probably
years,
closer to 3-4 years.
3 years.
2019.
3 years.
2019.
Okay, 3 years.
January 2019.
I suppose it's not crazy the fact this got announced then. I just wasn't expecting it at all. And especially not at... I know this don't sound stupid. I've been treated so poorly by Capcom when it comes to Resident Evil anniversaries that I now expect nothing from anybody from any of their anniversaries. So I saw like 20-year anniversary and I was like, okay, cool. They probably announced a wallpaper and like a limited time event or some crap.
They had a mobile game.
There you go. See,
at first, and I was like, that's literally to keep the fan base happy. I think that's all they needed to announce. I don't think they needed to announce Kingdom Hearts 4 at all. That was very, very surprising. It's looking quite a bit different than Kingdom Hearts 3, which I have a theory about it, but first, it could just be the world they're in. That could just be because they change art styles every once in a while when they're in different worlds, like when you're in the Toy Story world and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
But I don't think we're going to see any Disney characters other than Donald and Goofy.
I watched the
I think
trailer.
it's all going to be Star Wars and Marvel.
And I thought the exact same thing. And I was like, this wasn't what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, it looks very grown up, I guess, compared to the Disney stuff they usually do.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go into like Marvel and Star Wars to make it fit in with that universe, I think it needs to be a bit more grown up. Not that it needs to, but if I'm not mistaken, Nomura has said in the past that Star Wars doesn't fit with Kingdom Hearts, and I could be absolutely wrong about that. And that could be absolutely a lie of a statement. But I feel like he said that.
You dreamt it.
I might have dreamt it. I
felt that they said Resident Evil 9 was coming tomorrow, so it must be true, right? That's how it works.
Yeah. That's how we just will things into existence now. That's how it works.
Exactly.
Well, so my big takeaway from I was watching the trailer and I was just a bit like, all right, I'm confused, which obviously that isn't hard to confuse me. That's very easy. And especially with this series, super confusing.
Yeah.
And then, the things happen, the place, and then I was like, okay, cool. And then I was just a bit like, why now? Why this? Why, I guess get it out there and let people know that it exists, which I suppose isn't the worst thing in the world. But this was, if you didn't care about Kingdom Hearts, this trailer wasn't going to make you care about Kingdom Hearts at all. It just looked all dark and grey, and he's jumping off of a building at 1 minute, and then he's doing the thing with the Keyblade sword thing, right? Is that right? That's what called Keyblade, right? See, I know my Kingdom Hearts. I'm amazing. It was just so unnecessary.
It also starts and looks like a tech demo for Unreal 5. Like it starts with what people are assuming is Endor, and that's the Star Wars tie-in. It's mad. This game isn't going to be anything like this. Right?
No, I would be shocked if it wasn't like this, to be 100% honest. What made you think it's not going to be like this exactly?
Like what you said about you think the only Disney characters in this are going to be Donald and Goofy, because that's all we see in the trailer. That would blow my mind. Surely what you're trying to do with Kingdom Hearts is appeal to the broadest, and I know that they're not doing this with their story, but they want to put fucking Mickey Mouse and Woody and Buzz Lightyear on the fucking cover, right? That's what they're trying to do.
No.
Even I know that's not that. Even I know that's not what they do. No.
If they wanted to do that, Toy Story would have been in the game since Kingdom Hearts 2 or whatever.
If they were to do that, Toy Story would have been on the front cover, front and center of the last game, which it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's what they should be doing then.
I don't think
I don't think the game has a problem selling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think you get to make the decisions on what Square Enix should be doing, Mr. Matt P. Video. No way. No way. It
just blows my mind that this isn't an accessible series.
It's never going
who
to
is
be.
watching this trailer and is
a lot of people
excited for this?
Yeah,
game?
loads,
I know they are.
loads,
I know a lot
loads.
of people are excited.
Loads.
I know a lot of people are excited. But how am I not excited? Is my
because it's not for you.
Do you like Kingdom Hearts?
But if they're going to introduce
yes or
Star
no
Wars and
no.
Marvel,
Answer his question. Answer his question.
Because you have to remember, even if they introduce Star Wars is a small part of Kingdom Hearts. It's still Kingdom Hearts at the end of the day.
I love Mulan. I love Mulan. Never played Kingdom Hearts for Mulan. I love Toy Story. Never played Kingdom Hearts for Toy Story. This series isn't for me. I tried my hardest. I just couldn't do it. And this is going to be heartbreaking for a bunch of Star Wars fans and Marvel fans when they finally play this and they're like, what is this? And they're going to go, this game is rubbish. And people go, you're an idiot. It's absolutely amazing. And a 10 out of 10. I already know where this is going. You know that I'm right as well.
I know you are 100% right. I'm not arguing with that. But why? Why does it need to be this? Why does it need to be this?
Because people love it, and it sells millions upon millions of copies.
It's been this since the first game.
I know.
So it's never tried to be. I just want to say it's never tried to be anything else.
That's fair.
But I think there are people who go into it with the same mindset as you, where they play it and they're like, "This isn't really Disney."
Yeah.
They use the Disney worlds as vehicles to tell their own stories, and I don't think people expect that.
People hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Because I want a super dumbed down Kingdom Hearts that makes sense, and we're never gonna get it. It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
I want Spider-Man No Way Home multiverse, just fun nostalgia, fan servicey bullshit with a decent enough combat scheme.
Nope, not gonna
so
happen.
much to ask for.
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts
The
2 has
Disney
good
owns
combat.
everything.
No, it doesn't.
Kingdom Hearts 2 has good combat.
Have you played most of them, Crash?
He hasn't played most of them. He's played all of them. Every single one. I'm talking about the DS games that no one's even heard of. This motherfucker's played.
Well, the reason I said most is because I assumed that there are probably 10 mobile games for this bullshit that you haven't touched.
I only haven't played one of the mobile games.
Wow.
See what I mean?
Well, I am massively impressed. How long? Like, I know the answer to this is going to be fucking mental. How, like, if we sat in a Discord call and you were like, right, Matt, I'm going to get you up to speed so you're ready for Kingdom Hearts 4.
It won't happen.
You're going to fucking love it.
It's impossible.
I think there's a video on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to quote how long it is, but it is like movie length of a video, if not longer. To like get you all caught up with it. And there's a lot for people who enjoy like diving into stories and picking apart threads of story. For people who enjoy that, that's great. The story as it's gone on has just sort of been like, here's bullshit, here's more bullshit. And the bullshit makes sense in the way the story puts it out, right? Because the story sort of like, you have to have leaps of faith in the story and the stuff they tell you to make sense. You have to be like, this makes sense. And it makes sense at the confines of the story. It doesn't really make sense. Like half of it's like, you just got to believe and your heart and BS like that.
Then that is so Disney. All of that, like the heart of the game, the foundation of the game is all Disney bullshit.
Not really. Okay. Not really. Like when you play it, which you probably will never play it, it's not really Disney.
Can we, to bring it back to like the actual trailer, like the part that he's jumping on the walls and then that whole boss fight looking scene that they actually go through, that looks like gameplay, right? But is it? Yeah. So I think
that's going to be like QTE type of stuff.
Okay, that's what I assumed. That's exactly why I assumed.
Kingdom Hearts always has those type of moments where it's like really action packed and there's some QTE and stuff like that involved in it, and it's usually like more flashy middle or end of the boss stuff.
Yeah, that's what I assumed it was QTE, and it looked really good, kind of. I'm lying. I thought it looked terrible. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm trying to be positive and like pretend, but I watched it and was like, this looks like trash. Graphically, it looked decent, but like the monster he's fighting in this bland world that has nothing in it, which I'm sure is like a dream sequence or I don't know, the Keyblades, Mind's Heart monster, and like don't tell me that's the world.
I think that's the world. You didn't play Kingdom Hearts 4? Bro, if you play the Big Hero 6 world, that world is Kingdom Hearts 4.
No, 3.
This is Kingdom Hearts 4, right?
4, right?
Oh, this is 4 Kingdom Hearts 3. You're absolutely right, Matt. I'm just crazy.
I just schooled you on Kingdom Hearts, Kresh. How does it feel?
It feels bad. If you play the Big Hero 6 world, like that world's bad. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 is not a great game, and a lot of it has to do with like the worlds they make, and like the Big Hero 6 world just feels super empty. So where you say this feels empty, I'm like, wow, this feels more full than the Big Hero 6 world.
Oh, mate.
I think this was also done in Unreal Engine 4, and I saw a statement that this is essentially getting scrapped. I don't know to what degree because they're moving production over to Unreal Engine 5. And I don't know how the transfer for like from 4 to 5 works and how deep they are into the process if they'd want to start from scratch over. But yeah, like honestly, Kingdom Hearts 3 sort of ruined any interest I have in Kingdom Hearts. Not to say that I'm not interested in this whatsoever. It was a bad game. It was a bad game. For how long you've waited from like Kingdom Hearts 2 to that game, and they had like the DS game and the PSP game from then, and like those games were fine. But it was always like
the Ouya game. Don't forget about the Ouya game and the Nintendo 64 game and the.
They didn't have an Ouya game.
The GameCube game.
Thanks for schooling me right now.
Imagine they had an Ouya game.
It was absolutely a huge letdown.
Is there any hope for like new people to get in on this? Then,
no.
Like, what is the minimum requirement? Play 3.
Wait, stop.
They finished.
I tried, Matt. And do you know what they told me? They said you need to play every single game.
Incorrect.
Then you've got to play the DS games. Then you've got this is what the Kingdom Hearts community told me. This is like, if you don't do every single gummy ship or some crap, you ain't gonna know what's going on. That's what they told me, Matt. They told me it was accessible and they lied. They lied to me.
Here's the problem. Similar to like Mass Effect, people want you to experience everything, where it's like you have to get people into the door of the franchise first before you tell them you have to experience everything the franchise has to offer. If they were to make it accessible, this would be the point, because it's officially the start of a new saga for the game. It's like this would be the new story beat for the game.
Some would say
so.
If
they want to get people
saga.
in.
Well, that joke didn't land. Fuck you guys.
No, he's just letting it breathe. But that's my point, right? Like everything I see like, ultimately, I know it's not for me. And ultimately, like, I know I'm probably never really going to get into this franchise. But I want to. I think the like, overall concept is a cool idea. I want to get in. But, like, it seems so difficult. Why you make it so difficult for me?
I want to be a millionaire. Don't mean it's going to happen.
That is very difficult for you, Fix.
It's difficult. It's difficult to make happen. Like, I think we've both got likely chances. Just as our odds are just as even as me being a millionaire, you get into this series and actually understanding it.
I'll take that.
I'm gonna send you the video, Matt. I'm gonna send you the video. You'll watch the video and understand it without playing it.
But it's not the same.
No,
I've tried that.
Not. Like those videos hit for people who are into the franchise and into those games.
I think those videos hit for people like me who like. You want to be like a hardcore fan of something, right? But you just maybe can't digest it in the way that you would like to. So having somebody sit down and go, this means this, and that means that, and da. I've done it with Resident Evil before, where I'm like, I consider myself a pretty big Resident Evil fan, but there are people that are way bigger than me, and they go even more in depth for things that I'm like, okay, I didn't pick up on this or that. And that's what those videos are for, really, in my opinion. Like, do you remember, I did like the Resident Evil playthrough of like everything, and we ended up watching like a musical, which is actually canon in Japan. Like, it's just, like, it's a bunch of weird stuff. That's what Kingdom Hearts reminds me of, where it's just like, it's just not accessible to us, Matt. I'm sorry.
I want it to be.
Unfortunately.
I want to believe.
It's not. And if you ever want it to be accessible, skip 1, play 2, and that's the franchise.
You can't just
play 2.
No, you can't listen. You can't listen to that.
In a franchise of probably 20 plus games, play 2.
Only 3 games worth playing. 2, Birth by Sleep, and the 3DS game.
That's 3 games.
3 games. That's what I said. Did I
you
say
said
2? I'm at 3. I'm at 3 games. Only 3 games worth playing.
Well,
the other stuff's good if you enjoy Kingdom Hearts, but
are they easy to play?
No, they're terrible. The Kingdom Hearts games control awfully.
Sorry, I didn't mean
you
from
played
a
Kingdom
Hearts
Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 1 controls awfully.
All right.
I didn't mean from a controls point of view. I meant like, can I buy them on Steam, or like, can I get them somewhere that's easily accessible?
They're on PC now. I think they're on PC.
Even the 3DS one, probably not.
The 3DS, I think the 3DS one is on PC, if I'm not mistaken, because I think they put the collection out. It might just be 1, 2, and 3 that are on Steam, but I'm pretty sure they put out the collections with both Birth by Sleep and the 3DS one.
I think he's right, because I think that's what I bought. I think that's the package thing I bought for Xbox, right?
Yeah, I think they put out 2.8, which includes all that stuff.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Maybe when I finish Elden Ring, I'll start streaming Kingdom Hearts.
No, you won't. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts 4 and Kingdom Hearts Missing Link were officially announced at the series' 20th anniversary event. While no platforms or release date / windows for Kingdom Hearts 4 were revealed, we do get a glimpse of Sora in a new world of Quadratum. Thank you. A quick look at gameplay and an ending tease complete with Donald and Goofy. Sarah Squid writes in and says, question for the podcast. Why the beep does
Nomura.
Thank you. I was getting there. Got to announce Kingdom Hearts 4 at 5 a.m. on a Sunday. Some of us are trying to sleep at 5 a.m. and are clearly failing since I'm able to write this question at 5 a.m. on a Sunday. But what are your opinions on Kingdom Hearts 4's trailer? Do you think it will come to Xbox day 1 like Kingdom Hearts 3 did? Or do you think Sony will pay for exclusivity? Navida leak suggests it will come to PC. Do you think that's going to happen?
I think it's meant to be Nvidia.
Nvidia, sorry. Is that Nvidia? Nvidia, my bad.
Yeah, Nvidia.
Bro, do you know what? Don't even bother correcting me anymore. People are just going to go with Fixer, you're an idiot. And I'm going to let them have it.
Gotcha.
That's not new. I think that's an autocorrect when Sarah was typing it out.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, you know. I'm an idiot.
Actually...
Go on. Go on. No,
I was just
please.
Gonna say, no,
that might be on you, isn't it? You fucked it. You messed it up.
No,
you put this
I
in.
copied and pasted it. I copied and pasted it, so it can't be me.
I'm watching.
And it's also the Google Docs making me correct it back to NVIDIA with the N and then NVIDIA. So
I think Sony paid for the exclusive on this, and it'll come to PC on Epic Game Store, and Xbox will wait a year.
I could definitely see that happening.
I don't think that's happening.
Do you think that there's any conversations that happen and go like at Sony, at Xbox, whatever, whoever's going to start bidding for exclusivity, and they go, game's probably going to get delayed, or it's probably a really, really long way off, or X, Y, and Z. Like, there are a lot of reasons to not drop a wad of cash on Kingdom Hearts 4.
You're not thinking.
Then, if that's the case, then nobody should ever drop a wad of cash on any Square Enix game ever.
Facts.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So, like, that's a valid point, but it's like we've already seen that happen. So.
Fair enough.
I feel like Sony are just in this weird place right now where they don't have the same caliber. No, I shouldn't say caliber. The same plethora of studios in which Xbox have. So they are going to have to partner third parties to keep doing these deals that they've been doing. You know, they tried to do it with Bethesda, and Xbox bought Bethesda. It's like this was always part of their plan, it feels like, to lock in some of these big titles with exclusives. It wouldn't surprise me in no shape if Sony decides, you know what, it's another game that we can say is exclusive for a year, and boom. Look, we're still thinking about Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're still sat here, twiddling our thumbs, waiting. Still.
Yeah.
I will never forget about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Don't you worry about it, Fix.
Of course you won't. Of course you won't.
I think the interesting thing with Kingdom Hearts that sort of differentiates it with most Square Enix properties is that it's technically owned by Disney.
Yep.
And so it would be a Disney deal. And we've seen Disney games go exclusive, so that's not parent company Disney. We've seen Marvel, a few exclusive games out on Sony, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. But I do think that somewhat hinders the possibility a little bit. I don't think it's going to go exclusive. Wouldn't be surprised if it does. I don't think it's PC day one. I think it's PC down the line regardless.
Matt?
I totally agree. I think, yeah. But my only question would be is if it's moving to Unreal 5, does that make a difference in any way, shape, or form? But probably not, other than maybe it doesn't go to Switch. I don't know.
I don't think
I don't think it comes to Switch. Anyway. Just don't come to Switch. No. Nintendo got to have something in their bag, right? A Pro or something. Like, I know we all expected a Pro with the OLED. Like, do we think there's going to be a Pro in there? There's got to be, right? Because they're going to get left behind soon.
Even if they make a Pro, it'll just be the same situation the Switch was in, only a more modern situation where it's still outdated.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if it runs with like the Xbox One right now, it would still be getting some games.
But what's the point?
That's a good question.
Like, by the time they actually announce the Pro and get it out the door, you've already lost another 6 months.
Nintendo does weird stuff all the time.
Oh, 100%.
So,
no, I wouldn't put it past them. I just wouldn't
point.
agree with the decision that's being made.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan and you can explain the entire series to Matt P Video and you think you can actually do a good job, I'll let you have a whole hour with him for a Patreon exclusive episode.
I would fucking love that.
Ant's gonna come through. If
you think you can do it in an hour and explain the entire series and people want to hear that, I'll give it to you. No problem.
Be like a fucking drunk history episode.
Pretty much.
Then I'll have to retell it to you, Fix, and then that will be the canonical Kingdom Hearts story.
The best way to make canon. You tell the story to one. Honestly, maybe that's how Kingdom Hearts was constructed. Nomura told the story to somebody and was like, you guys go tell the story to other people. And it was this long chain of events.
Well, we'll see. Let's jump into Fix's sack and answer some questions. Remember, you can email in myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com. Kresh, did you check the email this week by any chance?
I got signed out of the email.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
I signed out of all my email accounts.
We got no emails, so it's all good. We're fine. It's all good. Don't stress. Don't cry. I need you not to cry, Kresh. Please, whatever you do, don't cry.
I wasn't planning on it.
Thank you. First question comes from Top Lift. It says, hey guys, hope you're well. Being a bit of a slow news week, so my question is, do you guys have a fond memory of co-op games from your childhood? One for me is Double Dragon on the Sega, playing with my brother. I have a ton of memories when it comes to co-op. I think the one that sticks out in my head the most is, so my mum, dad, they're not into games, they hate games, but the only thing my dad would play was the N64. That was the only console he would play, really, and the Sega Saturn, but only a couple of games. We were a Saturn house, yes. Calm yourself down.
No, I was laughing about the fact that your dad would only play N64, which is just the most inaccessible controller. Like, why is that the one that you picked?
Because we would play games like Donkey Kong, 64, Mario Kart, and I think we had Wipeout as well back in the day. So like, me, my brother, and my brother's the exact same age as me. Oh, shout out to my brother, by the way. He's having a baby. Congratulations to him.
Ooh.
So, yeah, weird. Anyway, and now it's all the pressure on me, everyone. The pressure's on now. It's like, when you having a baby? Not yet. But yeah, that holds a really key part in my life, and we played international track and field on it. And that was the moment. I don't know if you were into that game at all, anybody, but on the Sega Saturn, I remember I used to take my sock off, put it over my hand, and scrape those buttons as quickly as I bloody could. I used to come home with holes in my hands. Mum was like, what have you been doing? I'm like, playing international track and field. What do you mean? Like, what, you was outside running? No. I was inside scraping my hand across a Sega Saturn controller. You know how it is, Mum. Come on. That Fighting Force. Does anyone remember the PS1 game Fighting Force or Fighting Focus? I think it was called. It was like
it rings a bell, but
it was like a beat 'em up, like a 3D beat 'em up. It was like the evolution to us of like Streets of Rage and stuff like that. So that held a big place in our heart. They brought out number 2, and then it never had co-op, and I was very upset. So it was a single player game. Like, what? I need to play with my brother, or he's gonna beat me up. There's loads, to be honest with you. Mario Party played a huge part in my life, and then obviously the key one, which I never owned an Xbox original, but I remember the first time I played on one. It was at my aunt's house. My uncle John at the time, he's not my uncle anymore because they broke up, but he had Halo, and I remember being like, what the hell is this? I'm a PlayStation kid. Like, what the hell is this? And playing it and being like, me and my Uncle Ray sitting there playing split screen, fighting each other. And I was like, maybe I want one of these. Never did, but, maybe. And that's when I figured out I hated Halo. It was at that moment, all right? That's why you all
you got destroyed in Halo.
Exactly. Exactly. Kresh, you got one or a couple that comes to mind?
I got a couple. Streets of Rage, which you mentioned. I remember playing that all the time. I would play it with my brother, sister, my cousins.
Yeah.
I'd play that all the time. I've talked about Joe and Mac 2 before. I actually don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast. That played it a bunch co-op.
What the hell is Joe
Pokemon
and Mac?
Stadium. Joe and Mac?
I was the exact same there. What the fuck is Joe and Mac?
That's a great question. Joe and Mac is the most goated platformer from the Super Nintendo. I think it was on Sega Genesis as well, if I'm not mistaken. Pokemon Stadium.
Pokemon Stadium was a great one. Do you know what? Pokemon as a whole, it's not really a co-op game, but it kind of was.
Pokemon Stadium had the party mode.
Yeah, Pokemon Stadium I was going to mention as well. Pokemon Stadium played a lot of that.
Yeah, like the Diglett, not the Diglett, the Sandstream.
I don't know about it.
Yeah, that game was goated back in the day. That was really fun.
I always remember leaving Pokemon Stadium as well, and like if you left it mid-battle, the commentator would just be like, and we're still waiting for blah-de-blah to make a move.
Yeah. I do know this game, Kresh. I do know this Joe and Mac game. Yeah, I do know.
And then also, Double Dragon had a crossover game with Battletoads. Battletoads. That I remember. It was Double Dragon, right? I believe it was Double Dragon that had a crossover game with Battletoads that I played a lot as a kid. It was with Battletoads that I used to play crazy amounts of that game, and you could beat up. It was one of the games that you could beat up the people you play with, which always the funnest experience.
Yep.
Always the funnest experience. Somebody hits you on accident, and then from that point on, it's on site whenever you're near them.
Come near me. Oops, my mistake. I didn't see you there. Sorry. Bam, bam. Get away.
Throw somebody at them.
Yep. Matt?
When I first started thinking about this, all the games that came to mind were PvP. Tekken and Smash Bros and FIFA, like FIFA 98 and stuff like that. But yeah, track and field especially. Like there's a like a trendy bar club in Cardiff that has like ping pong tables in the basement and like 3 arcade cabinets, and one of them is track and field.
Nice.
And like I'm always like, we should go there, guys, and play, because nobody ever touches track and field until we start going like on the machine, and then everybody's like, what the fuck is going on over there? Yeah, and so I love track and field. But yeah, co-op. I remember playing through most, if not all, of the Harry Potter games co-op with one of my mates.
Oh.
Like loads of them were co-op, or like I feel like from 3 on or maybe 4 on were co-op. And so I have fond memories of that. What the co-op games are there though? That's quite. I don't know. I'm struggling to come up with co-op games.
I don't know if I ever told this story on this podcast. Kresh has definitely heard it because we did a podcast called From the Gamers, but it wasn't exactly a co-op experience. It was more of a bribery experience. So I don't know if I've ever told this on this podcast, but yeah. So what I used to do was my friends used to. I was an influencer before I was actually an influencer. Right? My friends used to love watching me play games. They used to come over to my house and used to love watching me play, and I used to make them bring me biscuits to watch me. So I'd make them. My mum weren't letting me have no biscuits. I was a fat kid. I'm a fat man. Yeah, she was very adamant. No more biscuits. And Aaron and Daniel, shout out to them, absolute legends, because their mum and dad had Jemmy Dodgers in their biscuit barrel, and I loved Jemmy Dodgers. So I was like, yo, fam, go to your mum and dad's house, put some Jemmy Dodgers in your pocket, come over to my house, give me all your biscuits, and then I'll let you watch me play Metal Gear Solid 2. And they did. And I did that for months and months.
That's
and
wild.
I used to send kids out of my house to go to their house to get biscuits, and then they would bring them back and give them to me and watch me play.
You were locking.
It's like, you want to see this boss fight? I need some biscuits.
You want to see?
You were locking exclusive content behind a paywall before anybody else.
If you guys are mad at any studio for what they're doing, you know who to blame. Blame for this.
It was DLC, bro. It was microtransactions, but they were biscuit payments. All right.
I respect it.
But yeah, I did that for ages. It wasn't really a co-op game experience, but there was loads of games that used to be like that. Yeah, like they would literally. I had like a futon in the back, and I used to sit I used to have a chair. I used to have a garden chair that I sat right in front of my TV so I could sit on top of it. They sat behind me, and I remember Metal Gear was the big one because they just used to love watching me like freeze all the bombs and all that stuff. Like that was like, yeah, it was big. It was big back in the day. That and then Resident Evil, obviously, because people were scared of Resident Evil and I wasn't. So it was like, oh, you play it. And then there was one moment when Nemesis used to jump through the wall that I used to pause it just before he came through and ask my mate Daniel to do it. He was the elder than us. So he would walk forward, wait for Nemesis to jump through, pause it again for me, then I'd carry on. True story.
Playing mind games with these kids.
Hey, I gotta do what I gotta do. Hey, I was hungry. We hungry, Kresh. We hungry. But yeah, no. I mean, co-op play is such a huge part of my life. Co-op gaming. So yeah, it's been an interesting one. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Next up from Origin Cookie Man, who says, a little game that no one has ever mentioned before just won a BAFTA. Do you think this will encourage more people to avoid talking about it? I don't even know what game this is. Let me have a look.
It's a little game you will never have heard of called the Artful Escape Fixer. Okay?
Okay. Interesting. So it won. What did it win? Artistic achievement.
Well deserved. And if you haven't played the Artful Escape, sort your life out.
Okay.
What are you going to say, Kresh?
Not being allowed to talk about Artful Escape.
What do you mean? After we called it Game of the Year for like 3 weeks and then didn't make his top 10?
And then just completely dropped it. Yeah.
What do you mean it didn't make the top 10?
Artful Escape.
Rewind the tape. I think it was 3. I thought...
No, I thought it was like 8. I thought it was like 8. You put
it.
Yeah.
It was on the lower end, Matt.
It's a fucking great game. Go play it.
Yeah.
He says that now. Says that now.
There were a lot of good games last year, and it just so happens that the Academy agrees with me.
No, they don't. They agree that it looks nice. They didn't agree that it was a good game.
Cool art style. The Academy basically said, cool art style. And
okay, so are we now saying Suicide Squad is a good film, yeah? Because that's got an Oscar.
I mean, that's a great point.
For makeup. Yeah.
Yeah, is that what we're doing?
I think actually what that does is just prove that the BAFTAs are more prestigious than the Oscars.
No, it doesn't.
No, absolutely not.
You can't
absolutely
be
not.
like that.
Absolutely not. I prefer Jeff Keighley's Game Awards anyway. So there you go.
Congratulations, Artful Escape. Well deserved. Bravo. Love you.
Oh, absolutely well deserved.
Super deserved. Apparently. Next up, London Cheesehead 95 says, it's a two-parter. Which of the following gaming IPs would you like Microsoft and you only pick one to add to the great first-party lineup? Splinter Cell, Rayman, Sonic, Metal Gear, Mass Effect, Crysis. Okay, that's the first part of the question. I think it's an easy one for me personally. Metal Gear. Without a shadow of a doubt. With Kojima doing it as well.
That's not what it says.
I'd still go Metal Gear. That means we could get that stupid zombie game that we got.
Splinter Cell. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also,
give it to Undead Labs.
Stop.
Is this question, what do we think would be most beneficial to Microsoft, or what do we personally want?
Let's go.
I think it's what we personally
would you
want.
like
what
Microsoft to?
Personally,
yeah, what you would like Microsoft to. So not necessarily the best thing for Microsoft. Mine's a Splinter Cell.
Mine's Metal Gear.
Who would make it? I don't know who would make it. Give it to Coalition. Give it to anybody. Just take Splinter Cell away from Ubisoft, please.
That's fair. I am torn between Splinter Cell and Sonic, and I will go Sonic because you saved Splinter Cell, Crash.
So there we go. We saved them all.
Because I say Splinter Cell. Got it. Would you want to make a Sonic game?
Yeah.
That's the second part of the question.
And which first party game studio would you like IP to make the game? Metal Gear made by... damn. Paid myself in the corner here. Xbox don't really have a good stealth studio yet.
I feel like Coalition could make, like... we haven't seen Coalition do it. It's kind of the problem, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Coalition could either Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid. I think Coalition could tackle that. The only other IP just
the initiative.
They could have the initiative. That's where mine goes. But I'm like, we've seen nothing, and from what we've heard, that might not be the best place for these franchises to go.
Yeah. I'd love Metal Gear to be in the first party, but I don't think Xbox currently have a studio that could even tackle that.
That we've seen tackle it. Yeah.
And I said, Sonic, and I said Obsidian is a bit of a joke, but then remembered Toys for Bob, right, is now owned by Microsoft. And so,
Toys for Bob. Yeah.
Not owned yet.
Whatever.
Oh,
it
Crash.
counts. It counts.
Oh, Crash, you did him dirty there. Come on, man. Another question from Original Cookie Man who said, if you had to choose a character from a game to represent your co-host, which character would you choose and why? Oh.
I fixes is so easy. It's
okay. Go on then.
Easy. Chris Redfield, and the Resident Evil 7. Not my Chris.
Hashtag not my Chris. Oh, that's me. So you're telling me I just
Leon from the Resident Evil 2 remake.
That's more like
when I think of Fix, that's who I think of because I associate Resident Evil with Fix.
No, but like
that's what I associate Resident Evil with.
So what? Not his characteristics, a hero, an absolute legend, gets all the ladies,
sure.
a
main character. Yeah.
I've not even got my own game. The first game I had to split with somebody.
Hey, you got Haley in your life, no?
I do. You're right.
I'm just saying.
If I had to pick someone from that, I don't know. Like Alan Wake.
I've never even played Alan Wake. I can see it.
Like I feel like you've got some demons in there, bro. You're calm and collected on the outside, but there's some demons going on in that head of yours, And you just never know. Because the way I look at Alan Wake, is you on the outside he looks like he's calm, best-selling book, my guy looks like he's doing amazing, and then you play the game, you figure that stuff out. But that's maybe Alan Wake,
I'll take it. Okay. I thought for Crash, Dr. Cortex from
Crash Bandicoot. Grumpy.
Because I feel like no, Crash is like a bad day away from becoming a super villain.
Yes,
That's the way I feel about it.
I agree with you. You know, Kresh to me is kind of like Marcus, old man Marcus, though. Like he's been worn down. He's been at war. He's been worn down. He just wants to deal with his tomatoes, but these fucking kids keep coming along and being like, "We need your help," and he's got a kid that he just doesn't respect. He's like, "Sort your shit out, mate. I'm not dealing with this."
Got you. So you've aged me up in your head quite a bit.
Kresh, you don't act like a 26-year-old, my guy. Come on.
Got it.
None of these were particularly flattering, to be honest with you, were they? So.
Well, that's just, well, you didn't do me. Who, what am I getting?
I don't like it. It's so cheap. Like to say Parappa the Rapper is just so cheap because of the music. And I don't know. You know what I mean?
All right, fine. Okay.
If you think that's what represents Vix.
Damn. You just I'm a rapper? Damn. Is that it?
And it's a PlayStation exclusive, so
you are.
I'll burn in hell for that.
Damn. Now, all jokes aside, I think we're all idiots together, man. Last question for this week comes from Total JPM and says, if someone wants to come to Game Pass for the first time, what game would you recommend? Great question. That's a great question.
And new commenter. I don't recognize the name Total JPM. Maybe I'm wrong, but okay.
Yeah, I do. Long time
Total
listener,
JPM.
first time writer, maybe. It's a great. I don't know. I think I'd go first party, and maybe you've just got Game Pass. What should you see? It's hard without knowing people's
that's what I was going to say.
And what they're into and stuff like that. Go on.
I would give people the two options. I'd give people one, Gears of War 4. I feel like good story, good action, good looking game. You don't necessarily knowing the old games helps, but it's not necessary to the game. And then option number 2, Sunset Overdrive. Fun game.
Such a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's
again, if you like that type of game, it's the problem though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's it's actually a really difficult question to answer because of how big Game Pass's library is and how varied it is.
I'd say, I think I would go. I agree with you on the Gears 4. I think Forza Horizon 5 is such a good option as well. If you're into what is it Game Pass represents? It represents some of the best first-party titles that Xbox has to offer and a bunch of third parties. And I think Forza 5, if we sat down and did an Xbox all-time list, I think Forza, though I didn't play hours upon hours upon hours of it like I wanted to, I think Forza Horizon 5 would be super high up there for me.
We should do that at some point.
What? We could do a tier list video.
Yeah.
We could do like a Xbox. We could do a Series X tier list video, and then we could do an Xbox One and then a Xbox Original, something like that. That's a good video.
What first party? First
party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had Forza Horizon 5 in my mind as well, but then I was thinking if you want to just give somebody Game Pass is full of these lovely little games that you can play for 2 hours and finish again, it depends on the sort of gamer that we're talking to here, but little game, you won't have heard of it. It's called the Artful Escape.
I
thought I was going to get a spit take on it.
I don't want to hear you talk about Artful Escape anymore.
No, but from a genuine answer, from this is an easy game to pick up and play. It's an easy game to get your head around, but also has quite a lot of depth and complexity to it. The Forgotten City. Because it's a great little story. It's easy to get your head around in the first few hours. It'll also kind of very gently ease you into first-person shooting mechanics if you've never played first-person shooters before. It's not like dropping you into Halo and just being like, good luck.
Yeah.
You're going to die.
Halo Infinite's a good answer as well, though.
It is, but again, it comes back to what sort of gamer is it, right? If they've been stuck on Warzone for the past 2 years, 100% Halo,
There's a lot of games that I feel like are good answers to the right person, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's kind of the dilemma.
Also, State of Decay, I think, is a great kind of shout for it.
State of Decay 1?
I've never played State of Decay 1.
State of Decay 1's an amazing game, but You gotta like. If you don't like zombies, you instantly don't like the game. Go on.
Is it also? I've never played it, so I don't know the answer to it. But would it be too outdated today to like recommend somebody like today go to that game without knowing that like games from
yes,
that
probably
would play like that?
Probably.
Maybe I have fonder memories of it.
Depends. No. I hold that game in super high regard with you. The game is fantastic. But I do agree with Kresh. In a graphical sense, I think if you played that today, you'd probably be a bit like, oh. Even State of Decay 2. I look at that game sometimes and I'm just like, that art style is a decision. That art style is a decision now. Like, it's not... That game looks old. Nah.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not an art style that lends itself well to aging. You know, like exactly. Yeah, 100%. Whereas something like a Death's Door, I think would in 5 years' time will still look pretty.
Death's Door is a good answer as well.
Death's Door is a good answer.
I almost played
Hades
that.
is a great answer.
I was at Wazda and I almost played that.
You almost played Hades or Death's Door?
No, Death's Door. At a con, they had it there, and I was like, "Oh, I've heard so much about this. Let me sit down." I was like, "Why am I doing this?" No, stop. Let's jump into what's been
with the developers right there.
Walk up to it, Fix like pauses for a second, looks over to see if the developers are looking, and then slowly backs away.
Shut up. Let's jump into what's been in our box real quickly. I played a bunch of games because I went to Wazda. The only one I want to talk about on the podcast, though, is one that's actually coming to Xbox Game Pass, which was Trek to Yomi. You know what this one is? This is that.
Yes.
Yeah, you do know what it is, Crash.
Yes. It was shown at the PlayStation conference.
It was shown at the PlayStation conference.
The black and white samurai game.
Mm-hmm. It was very good. The art style, fantastic. Looked beautiful. The only problem I have is like when you get thrown into it. I don't know if you've ever been to a con before, but people listening. But if you go to a con, you get thrown in at such a weird point in some of these demos where like the character already knows what they're doing and things like that, and you don't really get taught how to block or parry or this or that or that. So you just get thrown in. So I can't talk about it too in depth because I didn't quite understand all of the mechanics in which I assumed was good. But what I played of it was a lot of fun, and I was like, oh, I might play this when this comes out. And then I realized it was coming to Game Pass, and I was like, I will definitely play this when it comes out. Just from a pure aesthetic point of view, fantastic. Gameplay-wise, like I say, it felt fun, interesting. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to it. It was a lot of fun to play, and I think I might even pre-install it while I remember. So...
Ooh-wee. When is it coming? Do we know?
22 days, I think it comes out. It's like
the 5th of next month.
Huh. But I'm a liar. I played one more game. I played 2 Point Campus while I was at...
You talked about that last week.
Yeah, but still, I played more of it.
Oh, you went back to it?
Yes, I went back to it and played absolutely even more.
We're going to lose Fix for that.
No.
He's going to be doing the podcast, and he's just going to be playing 2 Point Campus the whole time. And he's going to zone out, and normally when he would transition, we're going to be like, Fix, what's up? Why are you looking at you on the monitor? What's going on?
Shut up, Kresh. Shut up. What have you been playing, Kresh?
I played 2 games.
Hit me.
Both on Game Pass. Ooh. I played Weird West.
Oh, okay.
Which is a
turn-based, right?
Isometric game. No.
It's not turn-based.
No. I would have liked it more if it was turn-based. And not to say that it's bad, but it is a top-down game. It's similar to like Diablo or whatever, except shooting mechanics, and you have to reload and stuff like that. There are loot drops, and there's a survival mechanic where you take days to travel and you need food to heal. If you play on the harder difficulty, that's the only way you can heal. What was that?
Survival? I like survival.
There are survival aspects to it, yeah. I don't know if it would be survival aspects you super enjoy. Okay. Not that you wouldn't enjoy them. I just don't know if they're like what you're thinking of as survival 100%. I played it on Xbox, so I played it with a controller, and I don't think the game plays well on controller in terms of aiming. And that's my big issue with the game, where I enjoyed the aesthetic, I enjoyed the idea of it, the setup of somebody's husband getting kidnapped or whatever it is. I wasn't paying a lot of attention, but it's something along those lines. Seemed enjoyable enough. It seemed enough to like get me into it and be like, I can go forward with this. It's not something outlandish that completely derails the game for me, right? It's just really the controls. Like, I'm tempted to install it again on PC and see how it plays with mouse and keyboard, but on controller was absolutely a no for me. And then I played Chinatown Detective Agency, which is a puzzle-like game, which I was enjoying at first because they give you sort of hints where you have to go and what you have to do, and figuring that stuff is cool, until I had to walk back and forth in a room multiple times, and there's no fast way to do it, so you're walking at a normal person's pace, and it just feels tedious, and I don't know if there's a faster way to go about it. I was trying to press all the buttons. There might be a sprint button that I didn't figure out. I didn't go into the settings and look at the controls, and maybe I should have, but I got to a certain point where I was like, this just isn't worth my time, where I'm just starting to get annoyed at the game, unfortunately.
Wow.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Damn.
Good news.
Matt, what have you been playing, bro?
Guess.
The Artful Escape.
No, actually. The Elden Ring, obviously, is the correct answer. Whenever Emma sees me playing Elden Ring, she says, it's making you mad, and it always looks like you're doing the exact same thing. Except for this week, when I was up against the boss, and she was, like, cheering me on, and it was really fucking hard. And then I finally finished the boss. No joke, probably an hour and a half. She was doing other stuff, but she was basically like watching me do this. Finally beat it, and she was like, "Amazing! Are you done now with the?" And I'm like, "No, that's a totally optional side. The reward I got, I can't even use because I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of character. I knew that going in, but I'm here doing it." And she was like, "You're an idiot," and I think I am.
I mean,
I think I am.
I respect
it.
I respect it. I respect it. Can you imagine? Yeah, what boss was it?
It was the Crucible Knight twin. There's two of them. They're in a little dungeon.
Yeah.
Near the capital.
I hate those. Yeah. That's like
fighting one of them isn't.
That's like
super optional. It's the most optional of all things. Yeah.
How can something be super optional? What the hell?
They have optional bosses that are like Elden lore type bosses that are like more tied to the story. That's like optional boss.
They have these like catacombs or dungeons, and they're off the beaten path, and they're like almost self-contained levels that you work your way through, and there's a boss at the end, and you'll get a reward, but they're never worth it, other than the fun of doing it. Like, and so I knew. But that one specifically, actually, that is like it's more of like a maze to get there, and like time-based puzzles, and not getting run over by a wooden horse. It's a whole thing.
I'm gonna hate this game. Everything you just said to me just made my neck go absolutely not.
But it's so enjoyable.
So good, though.
I hope it is. I hope I play it and I love it, but I don't think so. Should we jump into the news? There isn't much this week. Is that everything?
No.
But hey. Big news! This week's dashboard. Bugsnax available April 28th on Xbox Game Pass and Game Pass PC. Was anybody sitting there clamoring for Bugsnax?
I'm sure somebody was.
But it is a good game. It is a good game. It's a pretty great game, I would say.
Okay.
I'm gonna play this game now, and if it's not a great game, Matt,
you're not gonna.
I'm
like
going to yell
Kresh.
at you next podcast. I don't think I'm going to.
There's no way you're gonna like it.
I would encourage you to play Artful Escape over it, but
that's never gonna happen.
You said this is a great game.
Artful
I will never play
Artful
Escape. I will never play Artful Escape. When it doesn't make it to your top 5 and you talk it up that much, I'm not playing Artful Escape.
Let me be very clear. Bugsnax probably not even making the top 20.
That's
you know
fine,
what I mean?
but you haven't talked up Bugsnax the way you did Artful Escape. Just differences, you know?
Yeah,
differences.
Fair.
Chris, I can't remember or not. Dying Light 2. You started it, didn't like it, refunded it, right?
Yep.
I might have a way to for us to play it. We might be able to game share and do some stuff. So, would you be interested in playing it through? Or would it turn you off that much that you were like, hell no?
It was the motion sickness, right?
Oh, sugar honey iced tea, you're right.
Patch that. Yeah, I mean,
We'll talk.
If it was co-op, we'll talk about it.
Don't worry
yeah.
about it. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Maybe. Next news story. Vicarious Visions merges with Blizzard. This is a statement on their Twitter. We've officially merged with Blizzard Entertainment. Our development team will remain in Albany. Is it Albany? New York.
Albany.
And fully dedicated to Blizzard games. We invite you to follow us at Blizzard_Entertainment. Vicarious Visions. The name rings a bell. What is the big title they worked on that I liked? Oh, this is the Tony Hawk team. Tony Hawk, Crash Bandicoot. Wait, what?
No, not Sonic.
No,
Spyro.
Sonic. Did they do? Oh.
Did they do Spyro?
No, they did Skylanders.
Trilogy.
They did the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Sorry. Apologies.
No, you're good. They did do Crash Team Racing back in 2003 though, and that game was good.
That game was incredible.
Spider-Man 3 as well. Weren't terrible. Weren't great. Weren't terrible. I mean, what does this mean? This means they no longer exist, and they've merged. And now, what do Xbox do when they get them? Do you think they'll separate them again, or probably not? Right?
I think it depends. I don't think they get separated, but I think like key talent from that team that maybe wants to do their own thing
Can get moved around.
I think maybe, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you're keeping, like they seem the tweet would allude to, sorry, they're keeping the team separate still, like location wise, like this team is staying in Albany, New York, and so I don't know how far that is away from the normal Blizzard Entertainment offices. Maybe it's literally down the road. Well, I don't know.
Think
that could mean something. Probably not.
I don't know. Do you think this could be, and this is me just absolutely hyperbole spitballing, shooting from the hip. Do you think this could be happening, and we could see more of this happening, so it looks like Xbox isn't getting as much with what they're buying? So, like, if you break it down in terms of, like, they're getting this studio. If they brought all of them into one studio, it doesn't look like they're buying as much.
That might be why they're doing it. I don't think it would affect the way that they're being reviewed.
Gotcha.
Because like the review will probably look over like what's happened since they were bought and like what was the case beforehand and all that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just for
I seem to remember as well this getting rumored a while before the Xbox acquisition.
Yeah,
and so we've definitely talked about it before. And so like maybe like that's some serious tinfoil hat stuff there. And I'm proud of you, but like I say, I think whoever's doing the review of this is probably going to be more thorough than to just go, oh, it's one studio, because they folded all the other studios into it 6 months ago and we didn't pay attention to that.
We just bought one big studio.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Last story this week, Eidos Montreal has no regrets about Guardians of the Galaxy SAO. Despite a somewhat rocky start with SAOs, Guardians of the Galaxy developer Eidos Montreal is confident the game is still a, quote, great ride, end quote. In the wake of the game's 2021 release, Square Enix initially slated that Guardians of the Galaxy SAOs underperformed, thanks to numerous numerous awards, nominations, discounts, and its inclusion on Xbox Game Pass. However, its sales have improved since release. In the meantime, it has benefited from a positive word of mouth, and Eidos Montreal stands by the game's quality overall. Yeah, I wish I did enjoy what I played, and I don't know, why did this not kick on for me personally? I don't know.
Gameplay.
Yeah, it was the gameplay.
The gameplay is just a little bit too
repetitive.
Boring, yeah. Which, I mean, like, to be fair, like, if they make another Guardians of the Galaxy, which we don't know if they will, I assume that would be something they would tackle.
No chance. Yeah. This game doesn't.
What makes sure that?
No chance.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Square Enix. I think that's sort of the problem.
If they did, the best thing that they could do is say you don't play as Peter Quill.
I think the game would have been infinitely better if you could switch who you're playing with.
If this game was co-op, you would find the person that was more fun to play, and it would have distracted you from the fact you were doing the same thing over and over and over again because you've been running around with friends. That's all this game needed was, what it would have done if you could have played the other characters was just have changed up the gameplay enough each time for you to go, this isn't mundane and boring from moment to moment. In my opinion,
it would also be the Final Fantasy VII remake effect of where like as you're put in circumstances where you have to play other characters, you're slowly figuring them out, and you're like, oh, this is actually really cool, and you're constantly discovering something by playing the game.
Yep.
Which I feel like I didn't really have a lot of in this game with Peter Quill from what I played. I didn't play too much, so.
You played enough.
I think as well, though, that pitch of like being able to switch characters and stuff does somewhat diminish the story. Not enough that maybe it shouldn't have been done or whatever, but like the idea that you are Peter Quill, you are trying to lead and glue this team together, and you're making the decisions both on the battlefield and in conversation is important to that game. I understand the reason that it wasn't done.
But I would say Final Fantasy VII does the exact same thing with Cloud. Cloud is the main character. It doesn't take away from. I feel like I feel
Cloud
like
is the main character.
Cloud is the main character, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Cloud's the main character when I play as these other characters.
You're not wrong, but I think to Matt's point, like there are parts where you're specifically making decisions with Peter Quill.
That's true.
And so it's a more attached story. But I still think even with that, I understand why they didn't do that because they clearly had a vision for this game. I would have preferred that they went for the option of during cutscenes, you're playing as Peter Quill, you're making decisions on his behalf. He is the main character, no doubt about this game. But during gameplay, just let me, because like you could still. Describe it when you're describing the gameplay as Peter Quill telling people what to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I think look, if they do announce Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and that's the first thing they show off is like the ability to switch characters mid-fight and stuff, like everybody's gonna be happy.
Matt, does the game end on a cliffhanger? Does it end on a hint?
Spoilers?
Yeah, spoiler. Obviously, if you haven't played the game, you know, blah 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 blah. Does it end on
kind of?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Matt. Back to you, Jeff. Wow. Yeah. Let's plug and get ourselves out of here, boys. Kresh, what are you going to plug this week, my dude?
All the My Xbox and Me stuff. You guys know where to go. Leave questions on the My Xbox and Me Discord. We needed questions this week. We could have done with a couple more questions.
Do you know what? I'm really happy with an hour episode. We haven't done an hour episode in God knows how long. So
that's very true. That's very true.
We did 2 hours last week, and I was like, we need to cut this shit down.
Crazy,
I can't keep doing 2 hours.
I think
Matt.
We need to no, Matt. More and like pace the questions where we want to. More so.
Forget all this. Plug, Matt. We're talking about this in a meeting. Come on, Jesus. Okay. Matt, what are you going to plug?
I don't know. We haven't done a plug for so long because the episodes keep crashing and we never get to this point in the podcast. So
oh my God,
true.
Shut up.
That's very true.
Love you, Potato Squad.
You can follow me over at MC Fixer. Go follow My Xbox and Me on all its socials. Yeah, man, this year has been kicking my butt already, but we will try and figure some bits out. Bad news to announce to everyone that made it this far. We lost the post show for this page for the exclusive. My PC has been on the wobble, as you all know. Yes, my PC has been on the wobble. Shut up and let me talk. The PC's been on the wobble. So I went into the OBS folder and it just came up corrupt. And I was like, what do you mean corrupt? I was like, this is where all the shows are. I need to now edit them to put... No, they're gone. They disappeared. They're gone. They're gone. Gone.
Are you saying that all of the ones we've done previously are gone, or just the one last week?
All of them.
We didn't do one last week.
Damn. Well, listen, all we have then is the one that me and Kresh did on our own. Because because I recorded that and it's in the Google Drive.
And that's going out as the only one.
That's the first Patreon exclusive?
That's the first one. I don't know what you lot talk about. I haven't seen it, but it's going up. You can expect it up hopefully this weekend.
Wow. Until
next time, we will leave you and see you all later. Goodbyes.
Bye.